Hey, um, my name's Crow, and I I make I make political calls to supporting politicians all around the country for my job, and because a few of the people I've called have for some reason had personal vendettas against me. I'm not gonna reveal my real name or where I live or even who I'm stumping for, but I just wanted to address the stigma of political calls. Some people act like such assholes whenever they get a political call. 'Cause, yeah, I mean it's really easy to be just really rude and nasty to someone who you're miles away from. You'll probably never meet again. Whose name you probably don't even know. It's um I just wanted to offer my insight, for those kinds of people and the other kinds of people who just like don't really tolerate political calls. The first thing you need to know about political calls is that it's not telemarketing. As much as you'd like to think it's telemarketing, and you should, respond to them the same way, as telemarketing. It's political callers are really out there to help you. Um, we keep you informed. Send you information about the candidates if you're not quite sure. And the stuff you're reading isn't, it's if the stuff you see on the ads or in the papers you're not quite understanding, we can help explain it to you. If you can't get to the polls, we can give you a ride. Really, we're out there to help you. And another thing you need to know is everything's completely voluntary. Because sometimes we ask you if we can count on somebody's vote, who are you going to vote for, but that's completely voluntary. So you know, don't act like we're trying to infringe on your privacy, because we understand the concept of the secret ballot, and some people don't want to reveal who they vote for. That's totally normal. That's totally okay, and we respect that. Um, there's some people that's you know the first they like when you call them, they say they're on the do not call list, and that's a legitimate concern. I'll tell you something that's, and most of them probably won't tell you, is that when Congress enacted, the do not call list, um, they did not include political calls um, as part of that, as part of that realm, because political calls are not technically solicitations, in the way that like telemarketing calls are solicitations. Because we're not asking for money from you. We're really not asking for anything, except for your time. And then you have the people that's, they get really angry at you. 'Cause they say you've called them multiple times. They told you to stop calling them. You know, and another thing you all should know: political calls are not a one size fits all concept. You can maybe getting calls, from candidates from a number of different, organizations, their campaigns, political action committees, lobbying, unions, you know. So just because you may have gotten a political call, from candidate once, if you tell them to take the do not call, if you tell them to take you off their list, you're going to be off that list, but not the list of all the other organizations that might potentially call you. And I understand people might be concerned about that. So I'll tell you something else they might not tell you. If you call your state board of elections and specifically tell them to not call you about anything politically related, they will comply, and you will be taken off all those lists. That's the real thing about, when you get a political call, you got to be specific. You can't beat around the bush. Um, you know, if if you lie and say that somebody's not home when we're reaching for them, we're just gonna, we're gonna keep calling until you do reach them. If you don't want to cut the calls anymore, say, stop calling, take us off your list. I like the people that say take us off your list because they actually kind of know what's going on. Um, but if you say not home, we're all kind of instructed to take those things literally because when you're talking on the phone, you can't really pick up the dog whistle comments, the hidden meanings of people what people say. So um, what is another other concerns people have? Yeah, that's basically it. Another thing. If you've gotten called before and you don't like being called, and you act like an asshole to me, even though this is the first time I've called you, and likely it'll be the first time I've called you because you know anybody who says stop calling or take me off your list, I will do that and make sure their name is removed. So I mean, it could be any number of things. Why you keep getting calls, but don't act like an asshole to me. Seriously, I'm just a guy. I'm not the guy that makes the gears spin. I'm just one of the gears. You know, and you know, I had this one guy. You know, he asked for my name. I gave him my name. Um, then he said he would sue me. You know, if I ever called him again. Challenge accepted. That's a battle you're not going to win. Because first off, you don't even know my last name. I don't give my last name to any callers. Most of the time, I don't even give my first name unless they ask. But I know, on the list I have, your full name, and where you live. So don't piss me off, or I could make your life hell. And if I can't, I could get the other people in the campaign to make your life hell. So it's not worth it, really. Just, I mean, I'm sure all of you learned when you were kids about being polite and being courteous, and the person who's calling you just to find out a little bit about you, and be nice and be cordial and just try to help you out some, is not the kind of person you should be rude to. If anyone, be rude to the field organizer, the field director, whoever the hell's running the campaign, because odds are they're the one that doing things that that piss that piss those callers off. They're the ones that you know that for some reason have people call on Friday nights or on Saturday mornings. Like, I'll agree with you there. Those are not very opportune times to make political calls. And and another thing, really, caller ID is standard. If you know if you see a number that you don't recognize, or you see on your caller ID that's from someone's political campaign, and you don't want to take it, just leave me on the line, or just don't pick up. It's really counterproductive just to pick up the phone and just to say that you don't want to be called. It's bullshit. It's ridiculous. Um, yeah. But anyways, any of you have some concerns, and I know there's lots of concerns with political calls, that I can address and I can answer in future videos. Like, please feel free to leave them in the comments or to message me, and I'll definitely address all that, because as an American patriot and as someone who is really dedicated to politics, I want to help you all out in that regard. So thank you for watching.